you know, these days in the self-help community, a lot of people downplay how important positivity is. It's seen as like this evil thing these days. You've probably seen like a little bit of these YouTube videos where they're like, oh, fuck positive thinking, like, you know, that is stupid and stuff. I don't care about thinking positive. The thing is, I think those guys they're right in some ways. You know, you've seen these people talk about like, oh, positive thinking is not actually that important or anything. These are quite like, these are normies who are saying this. Now, maybe you're a normie too. Chances are you're not if you've been watching my video for ages, right? For me, I lived a life of negative thoughts. And the moment that I realized that there was such a thing as positive thinking, my life changed forever, and I actually became successful and happy because of that. Now, I still fall back into negative thinking, but the difference of your life quality is immense. I make more progress when I think more positive, because I still think I'm positively thinking when, for example, I'm putting a bit of pressure on myself and saying like, no, come on, you don't want to mess this up. You don't want to, like, you know, miss this deadline or something. That's still positive for me. Sometimes I'll think about something negative and fearful and you know, some form of insecurity, like, wait, you know, like fear, and you use fear to motivate you. So you think, wait, if I don't do this thing, this is what's going to happen, and that'll be really bad. And that's still, I think, in some ways, that's still positive to do. But I don't think that we should feel so negative about just saying positive things in our brain that would help us, because it's helped me. So maybe if you're not like me at all, then it might not help you. But if you're anything like me, and chances are you are, because you've watched all this video and you've related to what I've said, then I think positive thinking will actually help you a lot more than like all these normies online seem to say that it would. So what we want to do to start positive thinking, it's very similar to that analogy I gave you, which is the Mr. Defeat and Mr. Triumph. That's essentially just like negative and positive thinking. And so I really like these weird mental analogies for this. So I'm going to give you another one. And I really hope these help you as much as they helped me. And it's to imagine that we can choose what memories we think about. And a lot of people automatically, like accidentally, choose the memories that make them feel like shit. Imagine that our memories are stored in this bank, you know, literally like a normal bank where, you know, they've got money and stuff, right? So we imagine in our mind, we can go to this bank and we can go to the bank teller and say to them, hi, Mr. Bank Teller, I'd like to withdraw this memory of the time that I was a piece of shit and a disappointment to my father. And the bank teller will say, oh, well, certainly, sir. Here's the memory. And here's another one, by the way, you know, here's a bit of interest. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is a memory where I was a piece of shit and my father's disappointed in me. Oh, this was so, yeah. That's what most people do. Most people go to their memory bank and ask the teller, can you give me memories that make me feel like shit, please? That's self-harming. That's not good for you. So how about we go to this bank teller and we say, excuse me, Mr. Bank Teller, can you give me a memory of a time that I conquered a challenge? And they'll say, certainly, sir. Remember that time in school that you did that thing and you conquered the challenge? And you're like, oh yeah, I did do that. And you start to feel better about this challenge that's in front of you today. Excuse me, Mr. Bank Teller, can you give me a memory of a time where I got the girl? Well, certainly, sir. Here's a memory where you got that girl. And you're like, oh yeah, like I did attract her. It was kind of easy to. And how did I do that? I was quite laid back. I was quite masculine. I focused on myself a little bit and she found it kind of attractive. Maybe that's what I should do with this girl that I'm interested in. Excuse me, Mr. Bank Teller, can you give me a memory of a nice fun day that I had with my family? I know we didn't have many of those, but can you just give me, surely there's a few in there. And he's like, certainly, sir. Remember this day where you and your family all ended up laughing about this joke together? And you just remember that, and it's like, you just feel better and more positive. And you know, straight after thinking this, you'd want to go speak to your family, wouldn't you? Straight after thinking of some challenge that you conquered, you'd want to be getting ready for the next challenge, wouldn't you? After having the positive memory of a time that you actually did well in like the dating scene or whatever it was, you'd be more likely to go and do that thing again. So most people, and maybe you, maybe me, most people, we're just withdrawing the negative thoughts from the memory bank. And it doesn't serve any real purpose to do that. They're just thinking about defeat and failure, like, oh man, no, but I'd probably fail again. Instead of thinking to themselves, okay, wait, I succeeded in this thing previously, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing. I'll probably succeed again. This is some powerful stuff, and this is seen as so cringe these days. But the old school success gurus that I really like, Jim, oh, what's his name? Jim. Someone will say it in the comments. Jim Collins, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, David Schwartz. There's some good guys, like these old school type of guys who talk about positive thinking. And it was such a big thing back then in like the 1900s. That was like when it was really first coming out. And everyone, like these big successful businessmen, really took onto it. And in our most recent times, you know, of the self-help YouTubers, the guys who've got skinny neck and long hairs and everything, and they're saying like, oh, well, positive thinking is actually a scam. It's like, bro, you don't even go to the gym, so how can I trust you? So if you can, you know, relate to me, positive thinking helped me, and I think it would help you.